Okay, so it's been about a week since I picked up this project. It is a Sunday and I have exactly a week to kind of film this last little bit before giving the next update, and hopefully I can make my deadline because it has been a long time since releasing anything. So hopefully you guys will enjoy what I do get to share. So today's focus will just be finishing up the basting, the tailor's basting, the hair canvas to all of my plaid areas on the coat, with the exception of the sleeves. There's a couple of things on the sleeves that I kind of want to ponder on this week as far as construction, since I am having to do so many layers of interfacing and the wool batting. So I just want to make sure that I do it to the sleeves and make sure it's not too stiff, or that I still have a lot of like movement still available while I wear the coat. But in the meantime, I'm going to finish up the lapel stitches this week, and hopefully I will be able to hand baste the top half of my coat together and give it a little try on. I hope it still fits. That's always my worry whenever I make projects and they take me forever to make, is that by the time I'm done with it that it's not going to fit. Let me know if you have the same worry. I don't know if any of you guys have long projects. Like if I had all day every day to spend on this would only take maybe a month or a month and a half. But since I'm having to balance it out with all the other things I do, it's taking quite a long time. And with it being holiday season, yeah, gotta watch that waistline. So that's a big worry for me. But hopefully by the end of this video, I am basting the top part together just to give it a quick try on and see how I like the structure, without the sleeves most likely, but we shall see. We'll see how far I get, because I kind of see myself in the next video after this one really focusing on the construction of the epaulets, the belt, and it takes a lot of thinking and planning on how I really want to construct them and how I want them to move and function, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and I'm gonna kind of show you where I'm at with all of the pieces, and it's gonna look like I have done nothing, but it's farther than I could presume I would be with moving and getting settled in and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So hopefully I can get a lot more progress done by the end of today before I start work tomorrow. So yeah, let me just turn the camera around really quick. In case I haven't covered what books I like to use for referencing, it's really these two books, the Singer Tailoring book and this Couture Tailoring book by Claire B. Schaefer. I interned with her years and years ago, and so I've just kind of always purchased her books because she is a wealth of knowledge with couture and tailoring and all that kind of stuff. So her books are absolutely wonderful, and maybe one day she'll see this video, but I don't know. So where I am, I have just about all of my pieces with the hair canvas attached. So I have the back panels left to go today, and this is a sewing sample for something else later, but I've got my side back pieces, my side front pieces, and my front lapel, which I kind of have to back up a little bit on my front lapels because I actually need a stay tape here, and I'll go through that. Basically, I'm going to have to kind of backtrack a couple of these rows and then put a stay tape here and then do all these like micro mini stitches by hand. So I'll show the process and kind of explain what what's going on. But that's pretty much what today's plan is just kind of finishing this stuff out and getting the wool batting on where I can, and kind of end my day around 9 p.m. It's like 1 o'clock now. So it'll just be lots of movies and sewing, Gilmore Girls if I feel like watching Gilmore Girls. But yeah, so that is it. I hope I can get a basted version of this together to show, but we'll see. If not, I'm still just gonna release this video because it's been forever, and I want you guys to have something that you can watch. So I'm gonna start filling that stuff now. All right, here I have my center back panels sewn together already. I decided that I wanted to have the batting to be in one layer to begin with, and then later on I can decide to either split it down the middle and stitch it together. But just for fitting purposes and just testing out how I like doing only one panel, this is the way I decided to go. So here I'm just cutting it out all the way around, and then once I get this done, I'm going to place it on top of the hair canvas and trim away my seam allowance all the way around. Once I achieve this, I will, instead of doing the basting stitches, I'm going to just do a really quick massive base stitch. Doesn't have to be pretty. It's only temporary because this coat's going to go through about 3 fittings maximum. I probably won't do anything more than that. But once I decide on what the final fit will be, I will then take out all of my basting stitches, all of my sewing lines, and then I'll go in and permanently set in all of my wool batting pieces. So on every part of the coat that needs the wool batting, I will then go in and give it the tailor's basting stitch. That is a permanent stitch. It keeps it from moving around, and it keeps it from warping whenever it goes through the dry cleaner and that kind of stuff. So here I'm just doing a really big basting stitch, and it's not meant to be perfect or pretty because, again, it's just temporary. That's what it looks like for now, but you can tell like it's already looking pretty like hefty and very structured, and it's not even into a full garment yet, which is really exciting for me to see that. It's turning out pretty well. My plaid matches up. I'm gonna have to do some like slight manipulation whenever I go in to do this permanently, because it's just off by a 1/16 of an inch. I mean, that's not too bad, but I'd like to see if I can get it perfect. If not, it's not the end of the world, but pretty cool. So I'm gonna keep doing this to the rest, and we'll see how far I can get. What I noticed, and I'll get there in a minute, but I noticed that on my center front panels, I couldn't just go in and do my basting yet. I still needed to do my roll line on my center front panels right where the lapel is. And by doing this, I first have to get twill tape, and twill tape, it comes in different sizes, but I believe this one I used 3/8 inch wide twill tape. And what I'm doing here is, after I let the twill tape soak in water for about 5 to 10 minutes, then squeeze out all the water, and then I take a very hot iron and I am stretching, pulling on the twill tape, which is why I have the pins up at the top, and I go back and forth on the twill tape to evaporate all of the water from my tape, and I am stretching and shrinking this tape. The reason why I'm doing this is so I can prevent any future shrinkage from any pressing I do along while I continue sewing on this coat, as well as just the life of the coat whenever it goes to the dry cleaner or whatever. I'm trying to prevent any warping from happening through the life of this coat. So that is the kind of curing, if you would like to call it, curing process of the twill tape. And then once that's done, and you have two pieces, one for each side, I then go in and I pin it along the basted edge of my roll line that I did in blue basting thread. And what I'm doing here is I am marking where my notch is, and then a 1/4 inch up, I'm marking where I want to place my twill tape. The purpose of doing this is I'm going to ease in my lapel onto the twill tape, and this helps the roll line keep its shape by easing this in and kind of shrinking in the lapel. And once I get this pinned in and stitched in, I'll be able to show you what it really looks like once it's complete. And then as I was doing this, and I needed to actually adjust it, so I had to rip it out and then put it back in because it wasn't perfectly aligned with where my notch was and where my other notch is up on the neck. So this is just me correcting my work and making sure that it's perfect, because if it is slightly off, then it can really just affect how this coat looks in the end. And I definitely want to reduce the amount of backtracking, especially whenever it comes to all the small hand stitches and how the coat lays. So this is me just kind of making a correction here before permanently putting down the stay tape. Alright, now that I have my roll line marked with a basting stitch and then my stay tape shrunk and eased onto the roll line, I am now going to stitch it down with a fell stitch. So I'm going to use my favorite brand of hand sewing needles, which is Lance. So Lance is my favorite hand sewing needle. It's what we used at Saks Fifth Avenue, and they've worked really well for me. I like how small and large that they come in, and the quality is pretty good. This is a Lance Betweens in size 8, so I'll open that up for you just to show you how small they are. They come in packs of 25. No, this is not a promotion. I am not at that level yet with YouTubing. Maybe one day. But when you do hand stitches, you want to do like really short ones. So that's the needle that I'm going to use. I am going to stitch this down using a fell stitch, which is a really, really small stitch. It is one of my favorite stitches, just because when you do it perfectly, it just looks very beautiful. It's not like anyone's going to see it, but if anyone were to open up this jacket to do an alteration later on, they would just get to sit back and enjoy my beautiful hand stitching. See, I have the stitches about every 1/8 of an inch. I like to try to be as consistent as possible, and then when I come back on the other side, I like to try to match it up if I can. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of prep myself to get that started. I'm going to be using this pre-waxed thread that I have seen a long time ago and always wanted to use it. It's furrier waxed skeins. I haven't personally ever used this, so this will be the first time. This kind of saves a step for me. I don't have to wax my thread every time and turn around, press it to melt the thread into, or melt the wax into the thread. So I'm gonna give this a go on this project and let you know how it goes. So with this, it comes wrapped around several times, so when you open it, you have to cut it yourself in order to be able to just pull some strands out. Pretty convenient little, trying not to just pull all of them out of the box. So they end up being about, when they're folded over, they're about 40 inches long if they weren't folded over. So a pretty good length to do some hand stitching with. Not too long, not too short. So yes, I'm gonna try using these and see how it goes. I did do a little test just to see if it's noticeable on the other side of my fabric. It seems to be a pretty good option. So here we go. Now the way, let's see if I can remember how to do this, is that you don't change the direction that you're putting the needle in. You keep going in the same direction. Same movement, but as if you're backing up. And for me, this direction is so much easier and faster. Okay, so as you can see, now I have all these chevrons that go all the way. After only doing 2 rows of pad stitching on the lapel, you can see how big the arch is and how it's just naturally curving with just the few stitches that I've already done. All right, here, this is the lapel that I'm cutting out the batting for, so just kind of doing a little bit of catch up and cutting off all of my seam allowances all the way around, just like everything else. And what I did decide, because in the beginning I was thinking I would put the batting on the upper lapel or upper collar, but then I realized that I want the upper collar to be a little less thick. In the very beginning I thought I had to have 2 layers, but then I was like, no, don't do that, because it's going to look like a big pillow around my neck. And that's not what I want. So then I realized later, oh, I need my batting to be where everything else is, which is against the body. So that's what I'm doing here. And just going through and hand basting all of those pieces I had on, because I wasn't sure if I was going to get to this point for this video, but I clearly did, and I'm happy that I did. And this is just me hand stitching the back pieces together with, I decided instead of just a simple basting stitch, I did a really big half back stitch here with my basting thread. And so whenever I go into a fitting, I will take my blue thread to mark any new lines or direction that I need to take when I take it all apart, and then go in to do any of the alterations for it. but this carries on for quite a while, and I'm just going to kind of let you guys enjoy a little bit of it, but then I will jump to what it looks like on the mannequin. Okay, this is where I'm going to stop for the night. I have all of the wool batting attached to all of the bodice pieces, and everything is hand stitched, just a basting stitch here, and later I'll go in and put the shoulder seams and my side seams in, but I'm going to stop here for the night so I can edit this video and hopefully get it out on time. But so far, everything is looking good. My plaid is lining up here, and I mean, I know there's a way to make these line up here and all the way down, but I didn't do that for this jacket, mostly because of worrying about fabric consumption. But maybe one day I'll experiment with it if I have scraps or something and do that. But I mean, this is turning out pretty good. And let's see, let me swivel it around to the back. I mean, this is not, I am not a size 6, so this is like super big, and it looks funny because I have it pinned in the middle. But looks pretty good. Ignore the really hideous plaid down here, that's a different project. So yeah, I'm gonna go try and edit this video. It's been a while since I've edited, and I hope that I can do it and not be a really extreme headache, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, so it is 7:10 in the evening on Sunday, which is my typical release date. So all I have left is to record the exit, which is this right now, because I'm not gonna set up the lighting and everything to make this fake. I like to try to be as real as possible on my channel. This video is probably one of the longest ones that I've put together. It's about 6 to 7 hours worth of work, or film basically, and editing it down to about 30 minutes minus the intro and exit. So I hope that the length is not too long for everyone, and I hope you guys like it. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, definitely leave comments below, and share this with friends that you think will love this channel and gain any knowledge for sewing or just inspiration. So that's really what I'm doing here. I just hope to inspire people to learn how to sew by hand using old techniques and just really enjoy the process of sewing. Subscribe if you want to subscribe, share it with your friends, and I will see you in the next video, where I will be doing probably a lot of stuff on like the design details and that kind of stuff. So that'll be really fun for me, because it's just more puzzles to solve and figure out what it is I really want to do, and I'll try to be better at discussing like why I'm doing the way I'm doing, because again, like every coat that I make, it's unique and it's it always has problems that I have to solve, but they're problems that I create myself, and I'm happy to create them and solve them. So that's like my favorite thing about tailoring and making coats. So okay, I'll stop jabbering on now, but enjoy, and I will see you next time.